If Daenerys grabs on and she means it, she won't let go.
On this week's Bondi Vet Top 5.
So this is Leo, and Leo is a very special echidna.
You do have a blue tongue, but it's got two heads. Look at that.
Can't truly believe you're kneeling in front of a panda eating cake.
At number 5 today.
I've actually got a bit of spare time. I thought, hey, we're in Bateman's Bay and we're close to Mogo Zoo. Why not go in and check on a couple of kids? And I think you'll like them. We're not bottle feeding, are we?
Oh, no. You're going to get quite a surprise when you see them.
2 years ago, the owner of Mogo Zoo, Sally Patey, invited Chris to meet rare white lions Mafuta and Numbi just after they were born.
When there's gas, it's better out than in, isn't it? Come on. Oh, good one. Good one.
Is it Mafuta? Is it my Numbi? Come on, puppies.
It's like a big Labrador.
Come on, hello, my Numbi. Hello, puppies. Here's a boy. Here's a boy.
You want to sort of lean back from the fence, but I guess the thrill of being so close to them overrides that. It's amazing. It's really mixed feelings. You'd love to see them out in the wild, but the reality is that because of their colour, because they're white, they really stand out on the savannah, so they're just a prime target for hunters. Just a glowing beacon. Still got that playfulness though.
Oh, yeah.
The simple fact is that if there wasn't some sort of conservation program like there is here, then they'd be extinct. That'd be tragic.
Fuda, Mafuta. Here, up.
Number 4.
At the Australian Reptile Park north of Sydney, conservationist Tim and his team are trying to play Cupid.
Big day for Daenerys?
Yeah, mate, yeah, we'll head down, pick her up, but she's been all right. She's been behaving. Her mood's been pretty good.
And has she eaten?
Yeah, a bit over a week ago.
Good, so she's clean.
She's clean, yeah. We should be right.
Let's go and get her.
Jump in.
Today is a big day for Daenerys, our female Komodo dragon. She should be cycling. She should be ready to breed, but we need to make sure whether she has eggs developing or not before we introduce a male. Hold on, boys, I'm just going to sort this out. We pull up, and before we've even left the van, I spot two of our teenagers having a Barney. They're up, and they're boxing. It's that time of year. These two roos are best mates, normally. I just keep an eye on it. The grunting's getting louder, then there's a big right hook. If I see some fur start to fly, or it seems to get out of control, I've got to stop them. Hey, boys. Hey. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. Sit down. Sit down. There you go. There you go. Good boy. Is it dangerous? A little bit. But the reality is they don't associate me with something they want to fight. So if I just walk in slowly and make my presence felt, they should stop. Leave him alone. Go on. That's a boy, yeah, you won. Off you go, mate. See ya. Right, let's go.
Trouble averted. Now Tim can turn his attention back to Daenerys.
Probably the best thing to do would just be let her walk straight out.
She'll come straight away?
She'll come out. And if we need to, I'll pick her up.
We have a plan. Daenerys goes for a walk every day, and her main relationship is with Dan. He's known her since she was very small. Dan opens the door. Hello. Daenerys comes strolling out and she goes for a walk through the park. We're going to do most of that, but we're going to turn right and jump in a van. Look at that, what a lizard. As friendly and accustomed to this as Daenerys is, she's still a Komodo dragon. Inside that mouth are razor-sharp teeth, and they're venomous. So they bite a water buffalo on the leg. The venom goes in, the bacteria causes an infection, that's how the prey dies. It's no different if they bite us. If Daenerys grabs on and she means it, she won't let go.
On the Central Coast north of Sydney.
You think she's going to head all the way to the van?
Australian Reptile Park boss Tim is preparing to take Daenerys on a road trip to find out if she's fertile.
Some days she goes left, other days she goes right.
Just taking the lizard for a walk.
But the huge Komodo dragon has other ideas.
That's sun pose. The lady needs a bit of sun. We've got an appointment at the vet's, a set time. So it's a short sunbake today, and off to the vet's we go.
Brendo, you got that backpack? Yeah, good stuff, mate.
Inside the bag are tools and equipment to get a Komodo dragon off your arm or leg if they latch on.
I'll grab her from the front.
Yeah.
Let's do it. You grab it?
Yeah. Got her? Every time when Dan's holding Daenerys and that head goes up near his face, we're always cautious. Her teeth are long enough and sharp enough, she'd go straight through the arteries. Really bad.
Okay, ready?
Good. She's a little agitated, but she's in the back of the van and it's a quick trip to the vet's.
How's she going?
She's about 40 centimetres from your head.
No throat puffing or anything like that?
No, perfect, mate. She's still tongue flicking.
When you're working with a lizard like Daenerys and you're looking for a few different signs, potentially if she's going to come towards you, maybe to try and bite. One of those signs might be bending the tail. They've got a really strong muscular tail that they might try and whip you with. But also too, they'll start to puff out their throat. They'll start to grunt. They'll almost become very, very vocal.
The team must get Daenerys inside before she gets too distressed.
Here she is.
There's our pretty girl. Open the door so you can go on in.
There's something about holding a Komodo dragon out in front. She lets me do that. If she didn't want me to, she would let me know.
What we're looking for is eggs. They'll still be attached to the ovaries. They're not fertilised, of course, she hasn't mated. And those eggs will be just above the pelvis, so in the lower belly. If we put Kraken in with Daenerys, when she's not ready or not receptive, they'll fight. Now, when Komodo dragons fight, it ends very badly. So we're talking real serious lacerations, lots of blood, and something we need to avoid.
Yeah, there's definitely some in there.
Tim's optimistic she's ready to mate, but first he's hoping Dr. Robin will confirm that she's fertile.
You can see
Yep.
they're eggs.
Okay.
She's got to come down.
She's had enough. This is excellent news because really they're not very often bred in captivity. And if she's ready and Kraken's willing to do the deed, then hopefully we'll have success.
Wow. These little black circles are eggs.
Correct.
And is that real size?
That's real size.
They're that big.
2.9 to 3 centimeters. They're quite large. And you can imagine what size they are when they come out.
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
6, 7, maybe even 8.
So that is exactly what we're after.
That's what we want to see because that means she's ready.
Yeah.
There are very few Komodo dragons born in captivity and only 6,000 left in the wild. So Tim is wasting no time teaming Daenerys with a mate and hoping for success.
It's critically important that we try and breed Daenerys. One of the leading causes of death in Komodo dragons in captivity is egg peritonitis. Now, that is when the eggs are inside, they're not fertilised, she didn't breed, but they sit there. They can rupture, they become infected and cause death.
Yeah, I'll take Kraken out onto the grass. We'll stay out there for a little bit.
He's at the door.
He's ready to go. I can hear him scratching. He's excited.
And here's the man of the moment. A hefty 70-kilo male called Kraken.
Now, while he's walking, we'll let Daenerys into Kraken's enclosure, at which point we'll bring Kraken back. You can see her, he spotted her. An introduction is very delicate. She's going to test him. She's going to want a male to follow after her. At that point, it can go really good or it can go really bad. That's what we want.
At the Australian Reptile Park, Tim's hoping love is in the air in the Komodo dragon enclosure.
They've sized each other up.
Female Daenerys is fertile, but is she ready for the advances of male Komodo Kraken?
Now, the chase is on. She'll keep running until he can catch up and show her the male that he is. Kraken's showing a little bit of frustration. Daenerys' skin is very thick, but it's no match for Kraken's teeth. Oh, that's heating up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Tim may have to intervene.
Kraken's starting to worry us. He's bitten Daenerys right across the face. That's not a good position. Kraken lets go. No harm done. We've got a little bit of blood on one of Daenerys' brows. Kraken's fumbling around a bit, trying to pull her into a position where he can go into a mount.
That is incredible.
And he's in mount position now.
That is perfect.
It's looking good.
He's gonna mate.
Oh, wow.
After many years of looking at these dragons from just this long to the size they are now, we've got our first mating.
This week's number 3.
You cheeky little thing.
Two intriguing animals, along with keeper Kylie from the Symbio Wildlife Park, have arrived at the Bondi Clinic.
So today we brought in Rex and Leo, which are two native Australian mammals. They're very important to us. Now the reason why we brought Rex and Leo in today is because one of them, Leo, has not been sexed. So we want to determine the sex because hopefully we can start to get into breeding next season.
Kylie.
Hi,
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
You too.
I'm a little anxious because I've got no idea what's in these boxes. And you have a place that's full of surprises, so
We do.
let's go through and let's work it out there. When I first see Kylie, she has this coy look on her face, almost bordering on smug. When she has that look on her face, it worries me. It means she knows whatever's in this box is going to surprise me. Which one's my patient?
The smaller one.
Small one. Intriguing. Wow.
Have you ever seen one like this before?
No, I have not. But look at you.
So this is Leo, and Leo is a very special echidna.
This is an albino echidna. Incredibly rare. You'd be lucky to see an albino echidna once in your lifetime. How did you end up having him in the first place?
Around 4 years ago, Leo was actually handed to us from members of the public. They found Leo in a car park in Berry as a little puggle, but Leo wasn't able to look after himself, so we took Leo in and finished off raising him, or her, and yeah, we've had Leo ever since.
So you need to know if Leo is Leo or Leone.
Yes. Yeah, so Leo is 4 this year, which means that she's becoming sexually mature. So it's the time that we should be able to determine what sex she is. And hopefully, once we determine the sex, we can look at breeding next season.
If you want to know if your echidna is Arthur or Martha, you have to wait until they're at least 4 years of age. By that stage, they've reached sexual maturity. They actually have those organs and they're a proper size. Until that point, there's no point even trying. Do you realise what you're asking of me? Sexing echidnas is notoriously difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because they only have one hole, and what's inside that hole, they like to keep a mystery.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, okay. Kylie has set me a real challenge. This is not going to be easy. So no little hints. I mean, he's not watching a lot of car racing or, interested in
She's keeping it secret for now.
Okay.
Yeah, very well hidden.
At the Bondi Clinic, Kylie is hoping Chris can determine the gender of little echidna Leo.
Echidnas are monotremes. Basically, everything that's sexual about them is kept inside, all their organs. So simply by looking from the outside, it's almost impossible to tell. Could we actually get Rex out?
That we can.
Wow, she's a lot bigger.
She's a heavy little thing.
So we know that Rex there is a girl.
Yes, Rex is a female.
This is actually perfect. I mean, now I can see if there are any similarities or any differences. Hopefully then we'll have our answer. Males tend to have the spurs, females tend not to, but you can have females that do have spurs as well.
So typically males do have spurs on the inside of their hind legs, but there is a percentage of females that have been found to have spurs, and there's also a percentage of males that have been found not to have spurs.
There's actually a tiny little spine there.
Yep.
But as we know, there's no guarantee.
Rex doesn't have any.
On size, what about the size comparison of the two of them? Females are meant to be bigger,
Typically, yes.
but Rex is a bit older.
Yes.
Leo.
Yeah.
So we're getting a few little clues, but not really leading us one way or the other.
No.
We're a little bit stuck.
Yes.
The only one in this room that knows the truth is Leo, and Leo's not saying anything. There is a little technique I have in my arsenal that's, well, a little bit special and can sometimes give you a bit of a clue as to whether Leo is male or female, but I don't bring it out just willy-nilly. You'll see why. You know, if you tickle their belly, sometimes they can let you know exactly what they think of the
Belly rub?
tickle.
Yep.
I want to point out that my hand is quite high in his stomach region and no other spot. He's grabbing my hand too. Is that the spot? Is it? Huh?
Although Chris is doing a really good job at tickling Leo, I think that maybe Chris isn't Leo's type.
Clearly Leo has some stage fright or is just unable to make an appearance, if you know what I mean. We're still no closer to knowing whether Leo is male or female, so it's going to take an anaesthetic to find out.
Oh my God. What is with the colour?
Yeah, he's an albino, or she's an albino.
He or she?
Yeah, exactly. That's why Leo's here. It's a big day in its life.
Hello.
At the Bondi Clinic, Leo is about to be anaesthetised, so Chris can try to figure out if the little echidna is a male or a female.
So, I know that we usually use something like this, but
Maybe problematic.
yeah, this isn't a good fit, so we're actually going to need to make a mask for an echidna. Give me a syringe, some tape and some tubing, and I reckon I can make you an echidna anaesthetic mask. There we go, that's more like it. All right, shall we start?
Let's do it.
Leo's keeper Kylie is keen to find out what Chris will discover.
So I am quite confident that we'll be able to determine the sex accurately with Leo today, being that we are in breeding season, so typically the best time to sex an echidna is in breeding season when their organs are ready to go, so fingers crossed.
Leo's going to go to sleep in a world of pink, possibly wake up in a world of blue, or pink. So we do need to get Leo quite deep with this. We'll get Leo to his back here. So you happy there?
Yeah, it's good at the moment.
All right, so what we're looking for is a little bulge in front of his or her cloaca here. So if we look here, we can see that the leg bone, so femur, coming up here. Now what we should be seeing if Leo's a male is a little bulge here, and I'm really not. So at the moment we're leaning more towards female. Actually feel something that is tucked away. You see that? You're seeing the unmistakable echidna penis.
It's the weirdest looking thing I've ever seen.
There is no doubt that Leo is a boy. I think we should tell Kylie. I think you should see this.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's definitely a boy.
Yeah. Not just an albino, but an albino male.
Wow, that's very exciting.
Looking at Kylie, it's clear she's absolutely stoked. Now that we know Leo is a boy, she's going to be able to find him the perfect partner, and together they'll be able to breed. So we'll wake him up and we'll deliver the news to Leo himself. Himself, as opposed to herself.
Okay.
Sit up, my little fella.
He looks so sweet.
Well, now we know, huh? Yep. A little high five. Thank you. All right. Yep. Brothers. Good work, Leo. Want to go home now? Okay. Leo is clearly a man, very clearly, and we're bonded in a very close way. But now it's time for Leo to go home. Is there like a welcome home Leo party planned?
Not yet, but I'm sure we can organise one.
A whole lot of masculine activities. So there you go.
Thank you for that. You did very well. I might have another challenge for you, something else a little bit different.
What is it?
We've got a female Sumatran tiger.
Of course you do.
Which needs a procedure, if you're up for it.
Tiger.
Yes.
Just when I thought my day couldn't get any weirder, Kylie's now invited me to Symbio to help out another patient. Let's see what she's got in store. I'm not going to say no to a tiger.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, I'll give you a hand. How'd they go on the trip?
Good.
Chris and Kylie have now arrived at Symbio Wildlife Park just south of Sydney with echidnas Leo and Rex.
Okay, guys. Home time. Get them out?
Leo, a little albino echidna, has just been sexed as a male and hopefully will go on to breed.
Is it just me, or does Leo have an extra spring in his step now that he's a new man?
I think so.
Number 2.
Oh, wow, you don't see that every day.
Not at all.
A very peculiar looking creature has been handed into the Australian Reptile Park receptionist, Penny.
We should probably get Tim to have a look, yeah. Penny to Tim.
Go ahead, Pen.
Hey, Tim, we have something here for you that you'd probably like to see.
Sounds interesting. What is it?
It's a bit of an odd one. You'll probably have to check it out for yourself. You're going to freak.
Righto, I'll be down in a minute.
This is something I've never seen before. Tim's definitely going to be excited to see this one.
What have we got?
Hey, I think we've got a blue-tongue lizard.
Holy moly. You do have a blue tongue, but it's got 2 heads. Look at that. Fair to say, in a long time in zoos, we've never seen that, hey?
Never.
This lizard is a real anomaly. I mean, it must be a chance of 1 in a million in the wild that something like this is born, and for it to have been found alive, well, spectacular.
Do you think he's going to grow?
If he's got 2 independent brains and he can swallow and his body's all right, then he might live. It's great that someone found him and recognised that he was different and has brought him to us. Things like this in the wild, well, if they're disadvantaged even a little bit, the wild is harsh. And I don't think he would have survived out there.
What are you going to do?
Down to the vet, hey? We need an answer to know that he's not in pain or anything like that, and then we'll look after him. Looking at him, physically, he's okay. But I'm not a vet, and I guess I really need to know what's going on the inside. I'll take him down now. I'll let you know how I go when I get back.
Thanks, Tim.
Pete the vet, he's in for a surprise. I've taken him weird and wonderful things over the years, but never anything with 2 heads. Good afternoon, guys.
Hello, Tim.
I know I don't have an appointment, but do you have time for a special little friend of mine?
Tim has arrived at the Green Cross Vet Clinic, about 5 minutes from the Australian Reptile Park.
Have you ever seen anything like that?
He's hoping Dr. Peter Nosworthy can provide some more clues about this very unusual 2-headed blue-tongue lizard.
I've never seen a lizard like this before, and I'm worried about how it's going to survive. I'm just going to have a look in his mouth for a moment.
1 blue tongue.
Everything looks all right in there. All right, mate, let's have a look on the other side. Yeah, okay. Superficially, from what I can see, they both look normal.
Is it possible that both heads work and swallow and...
I'm sure it is, yeah. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't be. I'd like to take an X-ray of its spine to see that it has got, you know, something that runs from the back of one of its heads down through until the tail. X-rays. I would then like to pass a tube down both mouths to see which one goes down to the stomach, or whether they both do, out of interest, and see which one we should be feeding, or can we feed both? Okay.
What do you got? 1 or 2 brains?
I think we have only got 1 brain, Tim.
1 brain, 2 heads?
1 brain, yeah. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
And the rest of the body looks healthy?
Normal.
Normal? Wow.
Normal. From 2 heads backwards, he's normal.
The X-rays are done, and Pete's happy. But what he wants to see now is
What actually happens when he puts a tube down the throat? Do both mouths feed through to the stomach? Mouth open.
Mouth open.
Pete puts the tube down one side and it feeds back to the belly. He then goes to the other head and it does the same. Now that means both mouths are intact and working.
Okay.
So that's good.
He can swallow both sides. Both sides will run down into the abdomen.
It's a great result. But before Tim leaves, there's one more thing that needs to be addressed.
What are you going to call him?
How about Janus?
Janus?
Yeah, it was the Roman god of new beginnings. He had two faces.
Janus?
Janus, yeah.
Well, that's lovely. One lizard, one brain with two heads.
New
Janus.
start, Janus.
I love it. I'm going to take him home, try and get him feeding, get him strong, and hopefully he can live a normal life. Well, that's his home, at least for the next little while, until he gets established and starts eating and gets bigger and stronger.
Tim is helping Janus, the blue-tongued lizard, to settle into his new home at the Australian Reptile Park.
I don't know if he's ever eaten since he was born, so I'm actually going to try and just force a little bit into him, and maybe that'll give him a taste for it, and tomorrow or in the days to come, it'll stimulate him to start feeding by himself. My little mate. I'm just going to gently pry open his mouth, just put a bit in, just get a little bit of food in there. That's it, good boy. He's eating it. He's licking it. That's fantastic, he knows what to do. Good boy. Let's try head number 2. Same again. That's a good fella. When I was down at the vet's, Pete said he's got a good response in the mouth. He sure does. He's swallowing that food from both heads. The last thing I'm going to do is actually try a little cricket. Okay, that's it, mouth's open. Cricket's in. Look at that. He's eating. Beautiful. In the wild, he wouldn't have survived. At least here, we can give him a chance. That'll be a good little home for you, mate. You got everything you need in there.
And this week's number 1.
Ni hao ma.
Ni hao. How are you? Good. I'm Joseph.
Hey Joseph, Chris.
Oh,
I'm here to help you for the day.
In China, Chris's volunteering adventure continues, this time at one of the country's most important conservation centres.
We welcome everyone from all over the world to come here to be the volunteer. Yeah, especially the vet.
What's our first job?
So now we'll go to the panda kitchen to prepare the food.
It's breakfast time for the pandas, and Chris will be helping to prepare a specially formulated meal.
The thing about pandas is they find it very hard to get all the energy they need each day with just bamboo, so you need to supplement it with extra things like panda cake, which is a higher level of carbohydrate, fat and protein. That way they can actually keep their weight on. Otherwise, they really struggle in captivity to actually keep all the energy they need.
Okay,
ready? Let's do it.
Yep.
So is this their favourite part of the day?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
The favourite time for the favourite food?
Yes.
Chris will hand feed 2 of the younger pandas, Shishi and Baya.
Oh, hello. You want cake? Look at you, you can't wait for cake. You're even willing to do squats for cake. Panda squats. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to be very, very gentle here. It's a small piece. There we go. You like that, don't you? The serious threats that pandas have to their survival means they have to be housed in a place like this where their numbers can be built up. Sure, I'd love it if those bars weren't there and if the whole area was a lot bigger and a lot greener, but the reality is that in terms of panda conservation, it is still very early days. You stay healthy. You have to mix it up. Thank you. Good. A bit of a palate cleanser too. I have to keep on reminding myself that she is so strong that if she wanted to, she could actually grab my hand and break it. That's why I'm trying to keep my distance back, but it's very hard.
The giant panda is the national treasure of China. So in the wild, the white panda is very, very rare. The number of the white panda is decreasing year after year. So now more and more Chinese people They got awareness to protect the panda.
This is one of those very surreal moments where you can't truly believe you're kneeling in front of a panda eating cake. But she seems very happy about the arrangement. Yep. Good girl, thank you. Okay, this is awkward because that's enough cake for you. So I have to give the rest of the cake to someone else. I'm sorry, there'll be more cake another time. It's gonna be all right. No, oh, this is tough.
You can't eat too much, okay?
I feel awful.
Next in line for a meal is Bayan, Shishi's boyfriend.
Would you like some cake? There we go. Very good.
It's hoped that one day Shishi and Bayan will successfully mate.
They are just meters apart, and you'd think when you have a species that is so desperate to build up its numbers, they'd be breeding all the time. But oh no, that's not how it works. You see, a female panda is only receptive to mating for about 36 hours a year. So Bayan has to really seize his moment. Okay.
Finish the feeding.
All right. See you, Bayan. Good luck with the missus next door, huh?
Okay. So we're finished with the morning's work. So next we'll go to the kindergarten.
We're going to a panda kindergarten.
Yes, the panda kindergarten.
That sounds extraordinary.
This way.
This way?
Yeah.
It looks like there should be human babies in here, but no. This is for pandas. It literally is a kindergarten. In here now?
This is the inner sanctum of the Panda Breeding Centre. To be allowed entry is an extremely rare privilege.
So this is a panda nursery.
Food is coming.
Food's coming, guys. It's okay.
Hola.
Come on. Follow me. Hey. Here. Food. Ironically, for me to be invited to go to kindergarten is almost like I've graduated. So I've now reached the peak. If I'm trusted with the babies, I'm trusted with anything. I never thought I'd be this close to a panda and be able to reach out and touch him and listen to him slurping his milk. It's about as good as it gets, really. This is gone, isn't it? Hello. Hi. For me, I'm in absolute disbelief that this moment is even happening. It's kind of, for a vet, like a dream come true. You want to come in and have this? Hello. Is that good? I've never been this happy to sit in front of someone with their mouth open while they eat, but you're an exception. Look at you. Yeah. Everything down to the last detail is so tightly managed here. And it's a credit to what they do. They just know these pandas so incredibly well because it's their national symbol. Have you ever seen something as adorable as that? Why do you love working with pandas so much?
All the workers who work for the panda, we want to protect the panda from extinction. Yeah.
So the work you do, you know it's very important.
Yes, important and meaningful. Yeah.
Somehow today I've managed to feed and be involved in this nurturing process for these baby pandas. It is something I'll never forget.
But now, I'm heading back to Bondi.
If you guys loved that video, great. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel below. That way.